Ali, thank you so much for joining us today. Now, guys, in case you don't know, this is the lead gen and conversion king. Ali has been really focusing for the last 3 to 4 years on transforming agency. Now, he has no management department, no accounts department. All of that is outsourced. You're just basically there just to generate leads, to convert those landlord leads, to get those let owners fully managed, to do the acquisitions, the sales, all those sort of different things. You just created like a hunt group sort of thing. So you've absolutely turned letting agency on its head. So you've actually come in as a former estate agent, which I think is probably the magic sprinkle dust that's gone on here. How have you managed to turn a letting agency into a sales machine?
I think you're right. Actually, one of the biggest advantages I had was coming in as an ex-estate agent. My skill set being an estate agent was very much looking for, obviously back then, looking for new vendors and then turn them into sales and finding buyers. So all I've done is kind of apply my transferable skill to trying to find landlords and match them up with tenants. In the office, obviously I've been really fortunate to be able to outsource a lot of stuff. Tenancy management is outsourced effectively. Tenancy admin is now outsourced. Sales progression is outsourced. So I've managed to keep the fun stuff and just focus on the bits that we're good at.
The big number I think is really interesting for me is that around 30% of the new business you're doing every month is let only to fully managed conversion. And I think that is key at the moment. With 82% of landlords not using letting agents, you found a way to convert let-only landlords into fully managed. Now, what difference has that made to your business? You're growing in management stock in a time when most people are decreasing. How have you really managed to put that together?
When I really sit and think about it, if I go out to a landlord valuation, not only are you battling with the having to convince them that let only isn't for them and they have to come manage. Challenge number 2 is generally those valuations, you're up against another two or three agents all fighting for that same bit of business. When I can get a self-managing landlord who's already got a tenant in their property that's doing it themselves, probably doing it wrong, if I can take them through that process, get them in front of me at a webinar, convert that into a different type of appointment that isn't a valuation, the biggest advantage I have, there's no competition. They're only going to sign up with me because it's just me they're dealing with. And that's what I love about it.
A lot of your landlords are actually portfolio landlords as well, aren't they? And it's probably taken 2 or 3 webinars to nurture them as well, hasn't it? It's not just been a one-hit hello and wham, bam. So just talk us through the nurture process, how that's worked and how you feel why they've come to you. Because it's not just, hello, Ali, you're great, can I come to you? There's a process.
The key is you've just got to keep consistent with the strategy and keep them coming to the webinars. That's what I love about the webinars. It builds that authority, it builds that trust, it demonstrates knowledge. They keep showing up, they keep watching you. And what I've noticed, that the common trend with all of them, whenever they've got a question, if they've got a challenge, if a tenant's causing a problem, if there's a bit of legislation they're not sure about, if there's anything like that, I become the person they ring because they've been turning up. They know we're the agent that knows our stuff. I've been following up after every webinar, having a good chat, getting to know them, building a rapport. I become the go-to. It might be, do you know what? I'm not ready to give you the whole portfolio, but as and when tenants are leaving, I'll give you the odd one over time as they come along. And then eventually when they're ready, and I've built up enough trust and something happens in their life, maybe they're about to retire, maybe then it's all ours and we end up taking on the business as straight into management. So I've just noticed that trend. It takes time, it's building up trust, it's becoming the go-to, and then eventually once we've done all of that, they're ready to hand it over.
November was your most successful webinar. You had 400 people booked on your webinar, 200 attended live, another 100 attended the recordings afterwards. You had 37 people book appointments with you. From that, you've done over 50k of business. I mean, this is just like, what would you say to someone who's not doing webinars?
I remember the fear of being on video and the fear of what if it goes wrong and not knowing what content's doing, all that sort of thing. I hate it. I hated the idea of doing it. But once you've done a couple and you get a bit more comfortable and you start getting a little bit of success and you get some good feedback from the people that are watching, and it doesn't become that scary. But I think once you get yourself to a point of, if you can just push yourself, once you start seeing those results, and then you can start really focusing on how to maximize those results, it becomes a whole different story. And when you have that one webinar, which I would now call the 50k webinar, that's where it all kind of comes together. And then you just think, wow, amazing. That's what it's all about. And now I just, anyone who's not doing webinars, for me, I've been doing this, 16 years in agency in total. We have all sorts of different funnels, all sorts of different things going on. It's been the number one biggest income generator out of anything that I've ever done. So if it's done properly and you focus on it, it's amazing, really valuable.
Final words for anybody scared to take the plunge?
I just found I had to change my story and say yes, and just get over myself and just get on with it. And once I did that, it was like the best thing I ever done. I know Tosin used to, well, still does say, feel the fear and do it anyway. I've heard Tom use that phrase. It's true. Just, the results speak for themselves. And if you're serious about growing your business and want to stand out from the competition, you just got to throw yourself out there, and it's the best thing you'll ever do.